Walk into a cafe, and the tables along the glass are usually the first to fill. Passengers often pay a premium to sit against the fuselage wall of an airplane, and in major cities, a simple apartment can double in value based solely on what is visible through the glass. From an architectural perspective, this is a fascinating contradiction. A window is essentially a sealed hole, an opening that serves no active mechanical function. Yet humans form an immediate and deep emotional attachment to these passive, transparent barriers. The presence of glass fundamentally shifts how we process the environment. Heavy rain and high winds are physically threatening, but behind a window, that same storm, occurring just inches away, suddenly feels peaceful and restorative. This preference represents an ancient psychological balancing act. It is a controlled way to stay connected to the outside world, while remaining within a point of total security. Through the glass, the brain continuously gathers information about the movement, light, and weather outside. The window allows us to satisfy a persistent curiosity about our surroundings without the risk of physical exposure. For most of human history, survival depended on a constant physical tension. Too much enclosure meant you couldn't monitor the horizon for threats, but too much exposure meant you were vulnerable to predators and the elements. Environmental psychologists call this prospect and refuge theory. It describes a biological preference for spaces that offer a secure, enclosed refuge at our backs while providing a wide, fan-shaped prospect of the environment ahead. We still seek out this ancient spatial logic today. Sitting in a warm room during a snowstorm or a heavy downpour perfectly replicates the dynamic of the protected observer. In this setting, the nervous system receives high levels of sensory stimulation from the storm's motion and sound, yet it simultaneously registers the physical safety of the interior. This specific combination of high environmental stimulation and guaranteed physical security allows the nervous system to relax. It converts a potentially stressful external event into a state of intense emotional comfort. This dynamic also shapes how we navigate urban life. Looking through a storefront window at a busy street creates a distinct psychological distance between the observer and the social world outside. Modern social and digital environments are often exhausting because they demand constant interaction and rapid cognitive responses. Passively watching the movement of traffic or pedestrians triggers a restorative neurological state called soft attention. Unlike the sharp focus required by a screen, these moving patterns allow the brain to process information without draining its cognitive reserves. A city window creates a layered experience. You can enjoy the quiet warmth of physical solitude while remaining visually connected to the collective rhythm of the community outside. Urban windows essentially act as a relief valve. They allow humans to satisfy their innate social curiosity without the emotional fatigue that comes from direct participation. Moving vehicles provide a different kind of psychological frontier. The view from an airplane presents the brain with perspective it never evolved to process, landscapes moving at hundreds of miles per hour from thousands of feet in the air. This elevated frame creates a sense of detachment. Within the cabin, a passenger is physically suspended between destinations, momentarily separated from their daily identity and responsibilities. This is a transitional space. With the exterior world moving by in a blur and no immediate tasks to perform, the mind often turns towards reflection and introspection. The combination of total physical stillness inside the vehicle and rapid visual motion outside acts as a catalyst, shifting the focus of the journey from the destination to a deeper state of thought. Our modern buildings have evolved to prioritize this connection. Historically, creating a safe, secure shelter meant thick, opaque walls, which severely limited an inhabitant's visibility of the world beyond. The development of large, clear glass panes changed this relationship entirely. Architecture shifted from creating closed boxes to designing outward-facing observatories that prioritize light and sightlines. Modern design heavily relies on glass because the human nervous system reacts very poorly to sustained, complete physical enclosure. Studies show that access to natural light and veins of shifting weather patterns are directly linked to lower cortisol levels and more stable sleep-wake cycles. Observing nature through glass helps regulate these physiological stress markers. A window is more than a transparent barrier. It is a physical interface designed for the specific needs of the human mind. The next time you find yourself quietly staring through a pane of glass at a storm or a distant city, remember that you are satisfying an ancient requirement for survival. You are finding a way to stay protected while remaining connected to the wider world outside.
For more content like this, like and subscribe to our channel.